So I don't normally do videos like this. You know me. 90% of my content is either like deck profiles or deck strategies or whatever. I just wanted to go over my painful experience in this Duelist Cup thing. As you can see, we failed to hit the top 10,000. I think I peaked at like 15k points, and I tried pushing it harder, and just, it wasn't meant to be. So I guess we could watch some of my replays that I saved for during the event while I talk about my experience. So first off, I think the first deck I used was, I was afraid, I figured I was gonna lose a lot of die rolls, and I did. So I I played a deck with 16 hand traps. And the only deck that can do that is Live Twins. And that was a mistake because I was opening 2 hand traps every game, even going second against my opponent and stopping them, and I was still losing. Because Live Twin cards are just not very powerful. So I quickly switched off that, and I spent the majority of my first 2 days climbing with Despia. That's the deck you see right here. And the win rate was better, but I was getting a little frustrated because, again, because of the die roll situation, and in this deck I couldn't really fit in a lot of hand traps. So it was, even though this deck is a lot better at going second, I felt like I was just wasting a lot of time just watching my opponent combo off for like 5 minutes at the start of every duel, while then I had to spend another 5 to 10 minutes breaking their board, and then and then every game where I lost die roll felt like I was taking 15-20 minutes just to complete. And then the Despia mirrors, like don't even get me started on the Despia mirrors. Like you see the stuff going on right now. This is sped up. This shit takes so long in real time. Like this is like 2 turns, and the game's still far from over. So Despia is what got me to 15k, and then I switched off into the salad deck, which, if you saw my 9k score, you can guess how that ended up. You can guess how well that ended up doing. Yeah, I spent as much time grinding as possible. Like I grinded as much as I could for the full 3 days, so this wasn't like a lack of time thing. This is just me, misplaying a bit. Me not being as good, as consistent of a duelist as I could probably be. But also, I chose the wrong decks. I think like stuff like mid-rangey stuff like salads and live twins, or are not, like, they get run over too easily by the higher power level that everyone's using in DC Cup. And Despia has the issue of there being a lot of targeted hate and having a not so enjoyable mirror match, which definitely matters when apparently Brandon Despia was one of the most represented decks in the cup. I know when I was playing Brandon Despia, about like 50% or more of my games were basically mirror matches. And in Brandon Despia mirror matches, a lot of the time it just comes down to who dissolves more copies of Super Poly, or Called by the Grave, or Ash Blossom on your brand fusion. Like, so I tried like a variant of branded. I tried every variant of branded Despia there was except Adventure because I think the Adventure version sucks. But I played my full gas build. I played a build of like double-digit and other hand traps. I played builds with a card count from like 40 to 50 to like 50. Like I'm talking like I played a 41, a 42, a 43, 44, a 45 card deck, so on, just for different tech choices. And like I basically gave up on it at like 15k because the mirror matches just took way too long, and there are just random matches where you will lose the Call by the Grave on your brand in red, and you will lose your opponent maxing you. Speaking of maxing, like I know it's been said, but basically every game where I played where there was a maxing involved, it was either you had the Altuid, you had the Called by the Ash or the Crossout, or you skipped your turn. It went like both ways, and yeah, that's gonna be one of the things we'll mention in the survey. But to further compound the point of that, there's like everyone's complaining about runics and stuff and floodgates, and I agree. That stuff is a problem in best of one. Best of one in itself, I think, is a problematic format for Yu-Gi-Oh! But beyond just those cards, because runic going first, setting 3 floodgates and like a fountain is like kind of an FTK when they go first, but they're not the only deck that wins going first, right? There's like 50 different or so combo decks where if they draw Called by or Ash for like your one hand trap, like say Tri-Brigade for example, you're gonna set up like 3-4 interruptions, draw like 2 cards, and like you're dead anyways. Or Lureless, which every single time when I had Max D, they would Ash it, and then they would end on Assembled Robin, UDF, Apex Avion, Double Dragon Lord, Oathgrave. Like you're not winning those games either. And like that's the issue I think most people have with the best of one format. Like you just, the person going second is so disadvantaged. Because I mean look at this. Like I set up double masquerade with like brand and red set, and I can make another masquerade on their turn. Like what's Runic gonna do to like 3 masquerade or 3 to 1200 burn every time they activate a card? Like nothing, right? Like I mean, and there's with the Master Duel balance, there's so much stuff. There's so many like problematic cards that are hit in like both formats but are legal here. Like Verte, you know, everyone's like memes on Drytrons like when Master Duel first came out. But if Drytron still accesses like Union Carrier and then their Ava and then they get their Benton, and then it's like, well, I mean, what's really changed? Like, what do the bandits really do, right? Like I don't know, like, and that's basically circling back to my terrible deck choice for this event. Is like the Salad build, like I was very confident in that, handling what I believe to be the 3 most commonly, what would be the 3 most common decks seen in Duelist Cup, and those would be Branded Despia, Runic Variants, and Sword Soul. And I was completely wrong about that. I saw a lot of Branded Despia. I did not see very much Runic. I did not see very much Sword Soul. At least not more than every other typical deck. And like Runic makes sense, right? Because like, who wants to, if you're climbing, who wants to sit behind floodgates for like for like 5-6 turns for like 20-minute matches every time they played, right? Like I should have seen that coming. And Sword Soul is like, I mean, it's Sword Soul. It's like a fair, if you're not playing a dark deck, which Salad isn't, like it's a pretty fair matchup, honestly. You're playing some good, honest Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, that's the Salad build I played for a majority of this event. Like it still had like a 99% win rate against Runic, and whenever it went first against Sword Soul and Brand Despia, you know, it had like a 99% win rate. I was like, yeah, I was very confident. But then I would match up against Pendulum and then lose. I would match up against Endymion, activate Necro Valley. I'd be like, oh, sick. You know, I don't know what my most common losses were, but I feel like no, I know what my most common losses were. My most common losses were Flu Underease, and Adamantipator. And if I was really being serious, those were the right decks to play, Flu and Adamantipator, because they run a deck full of auto wins. You know, Block Dragon is an auto win, Grass Resolving is an auto win, D-Shifter is an auto win. Not to mention Flu bricks like a good portion of cards in every typical deck. Like I'm sure we'll see it. Like I'm sure if you saw like what the people were playing in like the top 100, top 1000 ranks. Shocker. There's a lot of Adamantipator, a lot of Flu. All of us Flu naysayers thinking that the deck was gone after Barrier Statue was banned. I'll take the L on this one. I was completely wrong. Turns out a deck that runs auto win cards like Shifter and just bricks like a good portion of your opponent's decks, and then floodgates an entire extra deck summoning mechanic is still really good. Not to mention, Disruption it's almost impossible to hand trap it going first. When it goes first, since they have like 5 copies of Math and 3 more admins, and you know they're allowed to run Call Vibe. They're allowed to run Crossout if they want. You know, it's a good climbing deck because you go through the games pretty quickly. A lot of opponents, I guess, still scoop when everything they have is being tributed and bounced back to their hand, and they can't use Link monsters. And Adamantipator is the same way. Like playing a deck where you just auto win going first, and like there's not much your opponent can do to stop you, is like really good for a ladder based event like this. Like you hard drop Block Dragon, or you get lucky your Excavates, and you always threaten Million Guardian. You draw Grass. Fuck, I hate Grass, but like there's so many auto win cards you get going first. So like in 50% of your games, you just auto win. Like that's definitely an advantage. As opposed to the decks I've been running, like mid-range decks like Salad that puts up 1, maybe 2 interruptions if I'm lucky, and maybe a Baguska, but that doesn't even work against all the decks. It's like what I learned that the hard way. And Brandon Despia, like I hate the Brandon mirror so much so. Like I'd rather just, if I win the Dyro, I'd rather just win against Brandon instead of like have to play this super poly called by the grave on my Brandon Red dance that happens like every game. And Pend FTK, you know, Pendulum, I cannot beat that deck if I lose a Dyro once again, you know. But all these like fair and balanced decks in the best of 1 format, like that's really what you gotta play. I've learned for the DC Cup event. And I mean, what do I expect the ban list to be? I have no idea, bro. I honestly have no idea. Like, I would say the only thing that's for certain is they're not going to touch Max C, but and this isn't this isn't just copium, but they've done stuff with Master Duel balance that they've not done with either TCG or OCG, such as they banned barrier statue before the OCG. So maybe they can hit Max C. So anyway, let's do this survey. No gem rewards this time. Nice. What do you think of the event length? Okay, here's the thing. This is another beef I have with the. This is strictly for the second stage. In terms of the length of the event, it was fine. If your goal is Duelist level 19, level 20, or level max, it's fine. But having to grind hundreds of matches, because your competition is grinding hundreds of matches in round 2. Like, it's such a short amount of time to get however many matches you get in. Like, I'm not Konami. I'm not smart enough. I don't know what the alternative would be for a competitive event like this, but like, this just does not feel like this type of DC Cup second stage run does not feel like the right way to, because again, it doesn't like, if you're wanting to grind this event, you shouldn't be prioritizing win rate. You should be prioritizing length of matches and like how long it takes for you to win a game, which is like why Adamant Spader and stuff is like so good, because you win quickly and your opponent scoops quickly. Like, that's the type of deck that this event favors. You enjoy doing Duelist Cup. I mean, up until stage 2, yeah, it was actually pretty fine. So, Howl's Royal Timelet. Okay, here's another thing. I don't. Maybe I'm just slow. Like, I'll admit I'm not the best player, but going second into multiple disruptions when you don't open a hand trap, and then having to fight through those disruptions, and then making sure if you somehow play through that, you have to have enough time to be able to disrupt the next one's turn. Like, I lost so many games to timeout so many 1 games to timeout. Although I guess I'll personally work on improving my own play, but I still think there should be, like, I feel like every automated simulator gives you time back for performing an action, right? I feel like they can shorten the time limit even, but just give us back time every time we perform an action, so it proves that we're not like stalling. Did you enjoy your level changing based on fulfilling a certain it was just whatever. It's like every ranked system in this game. Did you enjoy no, hell no. Absolutely not. Were you satisfied with the event exclusive? I mean, sure. I actually no. They gave less gems than normal, so yeah. Stop scamming us of gems, I guess. With the rewards in the first stage. Stop scamming us gems. Yeah, that's basically it. The rewards are fine. They're like every other event. Satisfied with the ranking rewards. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is fine. Like, this is how. If there's one thing the second stage is correct on, it's like, you shouldn't have gems based on how well you do in the second stage. So like, the fact that it was all cosmetic is the right move. You are satisfied with all experience, and just the grinding in stage 2, man. Like, I know it was optional, but it's like the fact that I actually chose to grind. I did not. There were so many times where I did not enjoy the grind. Like, it's just. So what do you think about Duelist Cup? Yeah, I suppose when the game isn't predetermined by opening hands, yeah, like make it through first stage, high rank second stage. I don't know how to. Apparently that's me. Apparently I don't know how to build a proper deck for this event. I can't get the cards. Yeah, that's no. Okay. Other, sure. Regarding Duelist Cup, that's the only one. Okay. Everyone with me? Man Max C. Every game where one person draws it is determined by whether it resolves or not. Also more hits on floodgates and FTK enablers like the Lyra Lusk Fusion and sorry, I don't push talk. I'll say this later. Otherwise, too strong of strategies in best of one. I mean, yeah, I know they're not gonna touch Runic. I don't like Fountain's a bit overdone, but I think we can live with Fountain. So yeah, that's basically my experience with Duelist Cup. Just a lot of games where I felt like I didn't have control over, and me choosing the wrong deck for this type of event. Yeah, however, you guys are still watching this, let me know your guys' experience with Duelist Cup, if you grinded in the second stage or not, if you enjoyed this, and you know any banlist predictions you guys have within the next week. You know, I'm predicting there can be only 1 to 2, D shift to 2, and Starving Venom Fusion Dragon to 2. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm not quite sure, but hopefully we'll get something nice for the new year.